There is so much to discuss regarding Fire Emblem Engage and its mechanics. Last time, we spoke on Sigurd Louis, how to level characters like Jean, the merits of retreat, and more. But that's just the tip of this iceberg. There's plenty to get into today as well. Just remember, these are foundational strategies to build around. I can tell you whatever I want about them, but it's up to you to apply this knowledge in a way that works for you, whether we're talking about resource management or individual unit usage or whatever else. So, that said, let's get into part 2 of my Foundations of Combat in Fire Emblem Engage. Hello everyone, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman. If you like what I do, please subscribe. I'm a small creator looking to make YouTube my full-time career, and we're hoping to hit 15k subs by the end of the year. So, if you'd like to help, I'd very much appreciate it. Thank you. First up, when the game warns you to prepare. There will come times in the game when it warns you that you want to step back from the coming mission and prepare yourself. Buy items, train, make bond rings and inherit skills, all that good stuff. You should listen to the game when it tells you this. Do not be afraid to spend your resources when you are told to. It means you'll be facing a series of battles that you cannot leave. This includes not being able to go to the Somniel, not being able to buy items or weapons, and even, sometimes, not allowing you to change your party composition in between fights. I highly recommend stocking up on vulneraries, staves of various kinds, and any new weapons you feel you might need in the battles to come. Speaking of, don't hold back on forging weapons and handing out promotions as well. Make sure you've applied your engravings and craft any bond rings you'd like. You never know when you'll get another chance. And once you're in battle, make sure you have a squad you're happy with and will be happy with for at least one additional battle. I cannot stress this enough. Be prepared. Number 2, emblem attacks have 100% accuracy. Something we've quickly been learning in Engage is that dodge rates can be quite high, both for you and for the enemy. If you have a covert subclass enemy, for example, maybe some terrain that someone managed to secure, or even worse, both, you'll have an even harder time landing that big hit. If they're a boss on top of all that, well, good luck. But that's where emblems come in. Your emblem attacks all have 100% accuracy, so you can use them to finish off problematic enemies. Lucina, Marth, and Karin are all particularly good at this, so don't be too afraid to open fire with the big guns if somebody is stuck in and you can't dig them out. This is one of those points that you probably just always assumed, oh, I'm really accurate with my emblem attack, but the knowledge that they will always be accurate really should change the way you evaluate when and where you use these attacks. That is a resource now, even more than it was before, so consider using them to take out those pesky, dodgy boys. However, part 3 says, save at least one emblem attack to break boss crystals, and, I mean, it is what it says on the tin. I would recommend that you not go too hard on the engage attacks, because you will want some of these attacks to pop boss revival crystals. If you were not aware, bosses are going to start having multiple health bars before too long into the game, because they're just jerks like that. Why don't we get them? I don't know. It would be nice, but is what it is. You won't beat them easily, but with some big damage from Marth, Lucina, Lyn, or Ike, you can do some major work on them. Depending on the conditions at play, maybe the boss is a flyer, or you had the chance to group your whole party around them first, certain emblems will be better than others for that big chunk of damage. So pay attention to what the battle is going to entail, and make sure you save the right emblem for the boss to shatter those crystals and move more easily and quickly towards victory. Fourth up, use hand axes or javelins, and frankly any other ranged weapons, on backup units. If you haven't started using backup units, it's time to fix that. These ornery warriors are ready and raring to throw free damage around, as long as you give them the means to do so. That's where javelins and hand axes come in. You see, the backup unit doesn't care about being next to the enemy that's being attacked, they just care about being in range of the enemy that's being attacked. 1 range, 2 range, 3 range, 4, doesn't matter. And they will all attack together if they're all in range. It is entirely possible to earn 15 to 20 extra damage or more with backup. And that's before adding things like warriors with longbows for even more range possibilities. Finally, toss Emblem Lucina into the mix, not only so she can back up attack from anywhere, but also so she can force one more big attack out of the party by allowing everyone to be backup during her emblem attack. It is a truly brutal display if you can get it all online that can potentially double or triple your damage output in a turn, again, depending on how you manipulate things. And if your sword units with backup are feeling left out, don't forget that you do have access to the Levin sword that they can use to attack from range as well. So at least there's that. Number 5, apply poison to bosses to increase your damage. Something I haven't seen people discussing enough is the power of poison, and since we're already on the topic of beating bosses, this is an important one to highlight. If you were not aware, poison works differently in Fire Emblem Engage compared to past titles in the series. Primarily being applied by daggers and knives, poison inflicts a damage vulnerability on inflicted units. This vulnerability stacks with each attack made against the target with a weapon that applies poison, causing all incoming damage to be increased. So, if you're having a hard time dealing with a tough enemy or boss, for me, Emblem Ike comes to mind because he's quite tanky, make sure you're hitting them with poison first, as it will increase the damage of all of your subsequent attacks. Utilizing multiple Thieves or Wolf Knights, Seedall the Dancer, and Emblem Violet's Divine Dance ability to apply these stacks consecutively in a turn can cripple nearly any boss and make the rest of the combat against them a breeze. Just note that you need to actually deal damage to the enemy to apply the poison, even if it's only like 1 damage, so consider some forges for your favorite knives, putting some engravings on them, or even just buffing the strength of your knife wielders directly with stat boosting items. Number 6, use Louis with Lyn for indestructible shadow clones. And I mean, as if Louis hasn't already broken the game over his mighty knee enough as it is with Sigurd, here comes Emblem Lyn to show you some new nonsense to pull. Part of Lyn's emblem kit is the ability to create 4 clones of her bearer in the area around them, which then persist until they're destroyed or the current engage ends. They can backup attack for you no matter where they are on the map, and will counterattack if targeted by the enemy. The idea is that you're going to either use them as decoys, or to summon them in a safe area and then charge forward to have them back you up for extra damage. However, given these clones have a measly 1 HP, they'll fall immediately if they get hit. Unless they don't take any damage. That's where Louis, or another Armor Knight like Jade, comes in. You see, the clones inherit the stats of the emblem bearer. If your bearer has enough defense that they don't take any damage, I'm sure you can see where this is going. Drop your Lyn bearer in a choke point, cast your clones, and laugh as your immovable wall of swords hacks any enemy who attempts to pass through into tiny little chunks. As always, you will have to watch out for mages here. Your clones are tasty to them, but you were already doing that with your armor unit anyway, so you should be able to handle that here. Number 7, don't be afraid to use your staves. I've recently been seeing people lament each and every use of any staff they have that's rarer than, like, a mend staff. The fear that I, quote, may need this for a battle later, unquote, wafts through the air, and it calls me to tell you, chill, my guy. You may need that freeze staff later, but you know when else you need it? Now. And we're not in something like the Sacred Stones where you had to be so careful about using the Silence staff, for there was only one. Staves are a commonly stocked item in the shop. They show up fairly often as drops and as treasure, and there's a reason for that. Intelligent Systems wants you to use them. Yes, smart positioning and resource-light tactics like luring individual units will still be your bread and butter, but there will be times where that isn't enough. I don't know how I'd have cleared Ike's Paralog without freeze staves, and I've pulled some truly silly stalling shenanigans using Obstruct. Don't limit yourself needlessly. Use your staves. Number 8, use emblem rings to focus SP gains. I've gotten a lot of questions about how to most efficiently gain SP for skill inheritance, and I gotta say, even I was left scratching my head for a bit. As one of the most important build crafting tools at our disposal, there's all sorts of cool skills to give our units from their emblems, but SP is quite the limited resource. Fortunately, we now have a bit more of an answer. Huge shout out and credit to Mage General 69 in my comments and my Discord for sharing this information. It's their testing that made this info clear. It turns out SP is gained whenever you gain XP for any action, this being skill points and experience points, so long as you have a ring equipped. If the character in question has an emblem ring, they gain the same amount of SP as they gained in XP. If they have a bond ring, they instead gain half of the SP that they gained as XP. So, if there's a particular character that you're trying to inherit a highly costed skill to, Wynn's Speed Taker comes to mind, make sure they have an emblem ring and give them as much XP as you can. However, it's important to note that testing shows a slight difference to this pattern in the arena. When training in the arena, you only gain the half SP from bond rings, while you don't get any from having an emblem ring equipped. It's not quite clear to me why this is, although Mage General suggests that it may be due to emblems being coded as training materials, quote unquote. My personal take on that is due to the fact that emblems can appear as training partners, your emblems actually get unequipped during battle in the arena. That's total speculation on my part, and I'm sure we'll get 100% watertight answers as the fine folks in the community dig through the game code, but either way, it's something to consider if you're using the arena to eke out some extra skill points. Make sure you have a bond ring equipped, or you won't be getting a damn thing. And that, my friends, is the conclusion to a very weird little saga. This script has evolved from a 10-point video to a duo of 5 points apiece, to what we have now with 5 in one video and 8 in the other. What can I say? I keep thinking of more points that I use in my gameplay or that I've learned from the community that I feel bear sharing to make everyone's experience a little bit easier. From here, I have a bunch of other topics that I want to cover, mid-game tips, the emblems and their engravings, S-rank bond rings, and other fun stuff. For now, though, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman. Thank you all for watching. Toss any other ideas and suggestions you have my way, and remember, be good to each other. Bye now.